Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes. Actually, about diabetes and
A new plane, Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths.
So playing a tribal deck with your favorite tribe is a lot of fun, but you know what's even more fun? Playing with two tribes. So in this budget deck with only 4 rares and 4 mythics, we're going to be taking advantage of tribal synergies between both knights and humans. So we're going to have a quick deck tech first to go over the ins and outs of the deck, and at the end of the video I'll talk about a few upgrades if you want to spend a few more rares, or if you just so happen to already have the rares I'll talk about, you can just slot those in, slot some of these uncommons and commons out, and make the deck a little more powerful. So first let's talk about the big payoffs for our tribal synergies. So Worthy Knight is where we spend the 4 rares in our budget. It's a 2-mana 2/2 human and a knight, and whenever you cast a knight spell you create a 1/1 human creature token. So this is a great payoff for playing a bunch of knights, letting us go super wide, and the tokens it makes are humans, which go great with our human tribal theme. So Worthy Knight kind of embodies the idea of our deck. We're trying to do something like play a Worthy Knight, play a bunch of low converted mana cost knights, just spew out a bunch of human tokens. Those knights we play will also be humans, and then we play our human tribal themes like General Kudro to pump up all of our humans, our tokens, and our knights, and then we swing in for lethal. So Mr. Brimley here is where we spend the 4 mythics in our deck, and is kind of the key piece to come out of Ikoria that really makes this deck work. General Kudro is a 3-mana 3/3, with other humans you control get +1/+1. Whenever it or another human enters the battlefield under our control, we exile a target card from an opponent's graveyard. Then we can pay 2, sacrifice 2 humans to destroy a target creature of power 4 or greater. So just on its face, General Kudro just puts so much damage on the board. All of our creatures are humans, we're going to be making a ton of human tokens, so plopping down Mr. Brimley should pump our whole board up, put 3 more damage on the board himself, and just give us a lot of power. His exile ability is actually pretty good. We don't really have any synergies with it in our actual deck, but there's a lot of decks in the format that are trying to use their graveyard. Decks with like IKO, decks with Greuda that are trying to mill over clones and such, Arc-like Phoenix decks, we're able to target the important cards out of their graveyard and just sort of coincidentally pick those out. So it's just kind of additional upside sometimes, depending on the matchup. And then his activated ability is pretty good. It's a pretty steep price to pay. We can pay 2 mana, sacrifice 2 creatures to deal with most problematic threats, deal with Greudas, deal with like questing beasts and such, and generally just deal with things we can't easily beat over. But sacrificing 2 creatures and paying 2 mana in aggro deck is pretty hefty, so we have to be careful about where we use this ability. But it is a great ability because it kind of provides protection from drawing multiples of General Kudro. Like generally with a legendary card, you might want to play like 3 copies or 2 copies, because if you draw the second copy of it, you're really kind of stuck with it in your hand unless you want to legend rule yourself. But Kudro, he can sacrifice himself plus another human to exile a big threat on the board. So if you happen to draw 2 or 3 Kudros, you can just have them sacrifice themselves, blow up your opponent's big threats, and then play out your new Kudro without having to legend rule yourself and lose card advantage. So General Kudro is our main lord, but we also have a secondary lord in Sanctuary Lockdown. Sanctuary Lockdown is a 3-mana enchantment that just gives all our humans +1/+1, which again is all of our creatures and all of our tokens. And it also has an ability that allows us to tap down a creature our opponents control by paying 2 mana and tapping 2 untapped humans we control. This is pretty similar to Kudro's ability, except instead of sacrificing 2 humans to permanently deal with a threat, we're tapping 2 humans to temporarily deal with a threat. So it's a decent enough effect. It can allow us to get in for lethal. It allows us to, you know, if we have this on the field and we play out some creatures, if they're summoning sick, like we play a knight and we make a human token and both of those have summoning sickness so they can't really get in, we can use our extra mana to tap those down, get a blocker out of the way, and swing in for some more damage more easily. Or we can use it to keep ourselves alive. If there's some big threat and we have to kind of stall out and hope we draw into removal or whatever, we can leave our creatures back, tap down those threats, and keep ourselves alive. But generally, Sanctuary Lockdown is great because it's, 1, it's an uncommon, which is great for our budget, and 2, it means our deck has 8 lords, which is really powerful in a tribal deck. It means we're almost always going to have lords in our hand between this and General Kudro. So now let's talk about the knights that Worthy Knight gets to proc off of in our deck. First off, we're playing 4 copies of Venerable Knight. Venerable Knight is really great in our deck because our deck is pretty aggressive, so having a 2-power 1-drop is really nice. And Venerable Knight is a human and also a knight, so it benefits off of all of our tribal sub-themes. And whenever Venerable Knight dies, we also get to put a +1/+1 counter on a knight we control, so we get some additional upside there, but really it's just a great early game creature. We're also playing 4 copies of Wintermoor Commander. Wintermoor Commander is another human knight, so we get all the tribal benefits from him as well. Wintermoor Commander's toughness also goes up with the number of knights we have, and That plus the Lord effects we have to give him +1/+1 means he can get pretty big and have a pretty tough to deal with defense. And having Death Touch means he's really painful to double block against if we do get him to have like a high toughness, and they need to put like 2 or 3 creatures in front of him to actually deal with him. We get to kill all those creatures, so that's really nice. And Wintermore Commander also has the additional upside of whenever he attacks, a knight we control gets indestructible until the end of turn. That's really nice in an aggressive deck because it means we don't have to like hold back our worthy knights because we're afraid to attack in with them and lose our token generation. We can swing in with those two, make them indestructible, and it allows us to be more aggressive. We also have Order of Midnight, which is another 2-mana human knight. Order of Midnight also allows us to get back our payoff cards, get back our worthy knights and replay them, get back our General Kudro if we had to sacrifice it or whatever, or if our opponent blew it up. We're able to get back our lords and our payoffs. It's a good way to recover from our opponent interacting with us. And also, it's just an evasive human knight. So whenever we're pumping up all our creatures with our +1/+1 effects, it's really nice to have a flyer like this that can just get through a stalled board state. And the last knight we have is Youthful Knight. Youthful Knight is kind of a budget concession. You wouldn't really want to play this if you had another choice, but as a 2-drop human knight, it's not so bad. Having First Strike means it really benefits off our +1/+1 effects and is a really good target to put the +1/+1 counter on if our Venerable Knight dies. It becomes just more and more difficult to block the more power it has. It's just an okay aggressive threat, another human knight to add to our pile. And then our last creature is General's Enforcer, which is not a knight, it's actually a human soldier. So we only get the human benefits from this creature, but it is just really good. It's got nice stats as a 2-mana 2/3. It gives legendary humans we control indestructible, so our Wilford Brimleys can survive a Wrath or can survive, our opponent basically has to go out of their way to kill this General's Enforcer before they can kill our Lord, which is really nice. And if we're just out of resources or we're flooding, we can take advantage of its 4-mana activated ability to just generate some tokens and continue applying a pressure to our opponent. And we're also running Omen of the Sun. This is just an instant speed way to make 2 human tokens. Again, these aren't knights, so they only benefit from our Sanctuary Lockdown and our General Kudro, but creating 2 human tokens that can benefit off our lords is still really powerful. It also can gain us a little bit of life, which is great against aggressive decks, and it's another mana sink. Again, if we kind of flood out or just run out of resources, we can spend the 3 mana, sacrifice Omen of the Sun, and scry 2 to get the lands out of the way and to look for some more action. And finally, we got another great tribal payoff with Dire Tactics. So Dire Tactics is a 2-mana instant that says exile target creature. And if we have a human on the battlefield, that's it. It's just 2 mana, exile any creature. That's very, very powerful. If we don't have a human on the battlefield, which should be pretty rare for our deck because all of our creatures are humans and we have just so many ways to make human tokens, but if we somehow don't have a human on our board, then we do take damage equal to that creature's toughness. But in the vast majority of cases, it's just a 2-mana exile any creature. Very powerful and a very nice payoff for our tribe. So like usual, in the mana base, I am running some rare lands. I'm running some Godless Shrines, a couple Temple of Silences, and a couple Fable Passages. If you don't have these, just run as many as you got. Run as many Godless Shrines and Temple of Silences and Fable Passages as you got, and then you can replace the rest with as many copies of Scoured Barrens as you got, and then if you need to, you can also run some Orzhov Guildgates. It will knock the power of the deck down a bit to run taplands, but if you just don't have it in your budget, it's okay. The deck will still be pretty functional. You can still give the deck a try with these budget lands. And also you can try cards like Savai Triome and Datha Triome. If you just happen to have pulled some of these out of packs, you can put them in your mana base, and we're really not using that 3rd color, but it's better than it's better than like running an Orzhov Guildgate, right? Because it enters the battlefield tapped just like Orzhov Guildgate, but it also has cycling 3, so you can cycle it away if you just have too much mana. If you do have some copies of these, I would run them before I'd run Scoured Barrens or Orzhov Guildgate. But in general, just use as many rare lands as you got, and then fill in the gaps with these more budget lands. So in the sideboard, we've got Duress for something like Control. I actually had 4 copies of Duress during my gameplay, but I bumped it down to 2, bumped up 2 Agonizing Remorses, just because there just don't seem to be that many decks in the format that are just running non-creatures. Even the control decks are running like the Sphinx and stuff, so Duress kind of seems, you might want to even go down to 0 and go up to 4 Agonizing Remorse. It might just be better. It is nice to have a 1-mana discard spell in our aggro deck because it allows us to discard something and also deploy a threat in the same turn. 2-mana discard means a lot of times we have to take off our whole turn to do it, so Duress is still nice sometimes, but it is more limited in this format than it typically would be. Usually it's a pretty good card to have in your sideboard. We also have Apostle Purifying Light, which can just allow us to auto-win against some like mono black decks. It's also a human, which is nice for our tribal themes. Got Devout Decree to deal with things like mono red or deal with Arc-like Phoenix decks, stuff like that. Noxious Grasp is just great against any green deck. It's an answer to Nissa, it's an answer to Questing Beast, really nice. And then we've got Banishing Light to kind of cover all the other things. We run into like a Fires deck or something with like a permanent type that's not a creature that we had kind of built-in creature removal with General Kudro and with our dire tactics, but if there's like an artifact or enchantment we really need to answer, Banishing Light can kind of get the job done no matter what it is. And that covers it for our double tribal deck. I love tribal decks, and this is like tribal on steroids. We get so many payoffs. We get Worthy Knight, we get Kudro, we get Sanctuary Lockdown, we get Dire Tactics. All these tribal payoffs for playing humans and knights. And just the fact that there's so many creatures that are both humans and knights means like coincidentally you can wrap all these tribes together and have a pretty potent deck. So let's hop into the gameplay. Again, I'll have a section at the end talking about upgrades, but yeah, let's jump in. Game 1, here we go. Alright, playing some double tribal against ISO Celis. And, well, I guess we keep this. If we draw a black source, it's okay. If we draw a swamp off the top, this is okay. We can go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, but if we don't ever find a black source, we're going to be in trouble. But yeah, this is double tribal, human tribal plus knight tribal, Temple of Mystery. So maybe just a ramp deck or... Okay, yeah, we drew a swamp. But now we don't want to draw any more lands for the rest of the game. We're good. We're good on lands for a while. Okay, yeah. Attack with Venerable Knights. With General's Enforcer. Oh, they got a counter spell maybe? They do. Okay, so this is blue-green flash. Probably... I would feel better about this matchup if we had gone first, for sure. So, what could they flash in here? I don't think they can flash in anything that doesn't just trade with our Venerable Knight, right? So let's attack, see what happens. Okay, play Venerable Knight. Play General's Enforcer. Omen of the Sea, sure. So turn 4 is when this deck gets kind of scary, because they can start like holding up the Wolf or Frilled Mystic. But I don't think there's anything we can really do about it. We just have to kind of play through the best we can, I think. Yeah, well, there's our Lord. Problem here is we kind of, if we just attack in, they can run out the Wolf. And we don't have any way to kill it. Yeah, this is rough. And we don't have 2 black mana, so we can't order Midnight plus play it. I guess we just play out our Lord here, see if it gets countered.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley.
And I think we don't attack, because they could have the Wolf here. I think we wait 1 more turn so we can hopefully play our Lord. Yeah, here's the Wolf. So if we can play this Sanctuary Lockdown and get our creatures to 4 power, we can start beating through this Wolf. Oh, Dire Attack. Ah, if we had 1 more mana. Jeez. So I think what we do is we try to Dire Tactics this Night Pack Ambusher, see if it gets countered. Okay, and we'll go to combat. Attack with everything, and if they flash in a Wolf here, we can kill it at instant speed with General Kudro. Okay, okay. Now we will use General Kudro, kill the Night Pack Ambusher, pay 2. Yeah, I guess we kill both of them. The ability to exile a card out of the graveyard with General Enforcer, that gets around their counter spells, so we can make humans without actually casting spells. So hopefully they don't have 4. So we've gotten rid of 2 of their wolves, which are definitely their most powerful card. Okay, Worthy Knight's actually pretty good. So here I think we just attack with both. If they have another wolf, I'm gonna cry. Let's see. They shouldn't have another wolf at this point. Oh god, Voracious Landshark. Okay, well at least that's not a counter. I mean, yeah, we'll just let them eat our... We'll let them eat our Enforcer, that's fine. Because now this means they don't have any counter spells up, which means we can play Worthy Knight. And also exile, return General Enforcer to our hands. And so next turn we can play, if we draw, if we draw a land of any kind, we can play Sanctuary Lockdown plus a creature. And if we draw a black source in specific, we can play General Enforcer and Order of Midnight. Great Shark definitely is a big boon to this deck. Oh god. Okay. A little concerning they have... Jeez. Okay, so we didn't want to draw another black mana card. That means we can only cast one spell this turn no matter what we do. I guess we play the card with evasion, right? So we can start attacking in the air. Okay. Frilled Mystic, sure. We still get the human token, which is good. We can eventually start... We don't want to... Damn. Yeah, it would have really been great to draw pretty much anything except what we drew. This Wintermore Commander. We just can't cast 2 spells a turn, and we don't want to use Kudro's ability to exile our Worthy Knight or our Kudro. We'll see. If we can... really need to draw some lands here. Specifically a black land. I think we would have probably won this turn. Or not this turn, but we would have been in good shape to win if we draw a black land last turn. We continue... At least, okay, that sucks, but at least we can do this turn. We can go Wintermore Commander, make another human. See if they counter the Wintermore Commander. Sure, and we can't counter that. But we can... I guess there's no real reason... Even if we blow up the shark, we can't really get in. So I guess we just pass the turn here, no attacks. We can plan to sacrifice these 2 humans. Okay, that's fine. We can plan to sacrifice these 2 humans to kill the Great Shark on our opponent's end step. Really suffering from lands here. We just can't find another Black Source. Alright, use Kudro's ability, kill the Great Shark, sack both our humans. Oh my gosh, we are just pretty unlucky here. Wintermore Commander, make a human. Alright. We'll exile the Great Shark. And... pass turn. Jeez, if we could... this is pretty frustrating. Even a Plains would let us security, or Sanctuary Lockdown plus General's Enforcer, but we've just had the worst of all worlds here. We just continually drawn a black card every single turn, which means we've been stuck on just one spell a turn. Okay, this is at least not a black card. So we will... I guess we'll play General's Enforcer first, because I know about that. See if they counter this. They do counter it, okay. But we can Youthful Knight. Finally cast 2 spells a turn. Exile their Omen of the Sea. Exile Mystic Dispute. Yep. And we will just get in with our human here. So we have been able to kind of get around all their counter spells by sneaking in this Worthy Knight and just making a bunch of fodder for Kudro to kind of exile all their big threats. Yeah, we don't want to trade Kudro or the Worthy Knight, but we will get in with a 2-2. Oh, they don't trade with them. Okay, they're just going to take it, go down to 3. Kind of risky. Okay, I'm just going to take and go down to 3. They did scry 1 to the top, so they potentially have Night Pack Ambusher. Okay, I guess we... General's Enforcer, make another human. That way if they flash in the wolf, we can sack our two non... oh, I guess they didn't actually make a human, right? So, anyway, we'll attack with everything. See what they do. Even if they flash in the wolf here, we should be good. Brazen Borrower, sure. Okay, alright, they did have... I was worried about the wolf, but I guess that's not what I should have been worried about. Sure. Here we will... I guess we kill the octopus. Do we want to kill the Nightbond or the octopus? I guess the octopus. It doesn't really matter if they reduce mana at this point, right? Okay, we get in 1 damage. Unfortunately, we can't recast our Kudro because we have a oh, Dire Tactics is not bad. That means next turn we can Kudro plus Dire Tactics. Okay, we will cast our Kudro. Sure. They will Mystic Dispute. In response, we will Dire Tactics their Frilled Mystic. Sure, gonna flash in the Brazen Borrower. Now we get to attack with both creatures. And they have to block the Enforcer and lose their creature, take 1. So now they're at 1. Got them close here. Ugh. They could definitely rip something off the top that could cause us problems. But both of these are lethal attackers. Sea Dasher Octopus. Okay, that's... I mean, that does give them a redraw. Sure. Let's see. It specifically needs to deal with 2 threats, though. Okay, and they just had the 1 blocker. Whew. Okay, that was a pretty close one. Let's see. So our opponent is on Simic Flash. I guess we go up the Noxious Grasps to deal with their wolves. Because their wolves are really the problem card, right? I'll go up... I don't know if we need to go up all of them, but maybe go up 2 Noxious Grasps. Yeah, because we need to be able to deal with the wolves. So, and we'll go down Omen of the Sun and just run it like that. We don't want to over-sideboard and leave ourselves with like a bunch of removal in hand while they just have a bunch of counter spells for all our threats. But we need to be able to answer the wolves. So going up a couple removal spells and using Dire Tactics that'll give us six ways to kill the wolf dead. We should be good. Really, we just want to get like an early presence on the board. Ugh. Well, that's not going to do it. Okay. Okay. Not the best, but it is something. Guess we'll go down the Fable Passage. 1 drop would be good here. If we could get our 1 drop Knight, that would be pretty nice. Oh wow, we actually got it. Okay, now we got 1, 2, 3. Again, it's kind of crappy to go second against this deck because by the time we get to Kudro, they're going to be holding up, 3 mana counter spells. But it is what it is. If we lose here, we do have game 2 where we're not going to be going second, so that's good. We'll get in with our Venerable Knight, sure. Okay, play General's Enforcer. This is more important to sneak down. Sure, it's more important to sneak down a General's Enforcer than a Youthful Knight because it does have that activated ability that lets us generate humans without actually casting spells. So more important. Even though it would be nice to have a Knight on the board, so if this Venerable Knight dies, we can put a counter on the Youthful Knight. I think it's more important to get down the General's Enforcer. And the next turn, we're just going to try to General Kudro. Okay. My opponent's clearly holding something up here, but we got nothing better to do, so we will at least force them to spend their turn counterspelling instead of using another Omen of the Sea or whatever. So, or flashing in an Octopus or something. I think that's pretty much all we can do. Just put as much pressure as we can. Wow, all they've got is a Night Bonder.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley.
Okay, we'll just get in with Enforcer. Once we have a Knight on the battlefield, we'll feel more comfortable trading this Venerable Knight. Okay, now they potentially have the Wolf up. Okay, Godless Shrine. I mean, we can kill the Wolf in response, right, if they flash it in, so... I think what we do here is play this untapped, play Youthful Knight, and then if they flash in the Wolf, we can just kill it with Kudro. So just get in with everything. Spectral Sailor. Okay. That was kind of weird, but all right. I guess we will. And our opponent scoops it up. Wow. Okay. Ooh, so we put the pedal to the metal there, and we just we took him down. We went second against Simic Flash 2 games in a row, and we still just took him down. The newly souped up Simic Flash with their Flash Lord at 2 mana and their flashy shark that counters the spell when it comes down. Like we just beat them. We were able to grind them out game 1 by just making a bunch of tokens and killing all their big threats with Kudro. Because their most problematic threats are the wolf and the shark. So all that could really stick was a bunch of creatures that we eventually were able to get over with our lords. And then game 2, I would just put too much pressure on them, and they weren't able to handle it. So, sweet. Awesome. Double tribal getting it done. Looked pretty good. Alright, playing some double tribal against Savage Hype. And they're playing Gyuda. We'll keep 7. This looks pretty good. But our opponent is playing one of the more... I don't know. It's a strong deck, but they pretty consistently get to Gyuda on turn 4, and it's pretty hard to beat. Okay, get in with Venerable Knight. Because the problem is they run this in like a bunch of clone effects, right? So they play Gyuda, get the clone effect out of the graveyard, make another Gyuda, get the clone effect out of the graveyard, and they can just, if they're lucky, they can basically just make like 1,000,000 creatures in one turn. Okay, here we will... Yeah, I guess we just Wintermore Commander. Get in. Pass turn. Rose Spiral, sure. Yeah. Well, they didn't hit a land. That's very good. Okay, so they're not going to have Gyuda this turn, which is nice. Like, if they had hit a land there, they could have gone land and then Gyuda and potentially combo off, make 1,000,000 creatures, but... Charming Prince, sure. You know what, let's go ahead and crack this Fable Passage, actually. Just stop holding up the game. Charming Prince scrying into whatever they need. I'm guessing lands. I still think we go as wide as we can here before we get the Sanctuary lockdown. It would be nice to play it here to pump up our creatures to be able to attack through, but I think it's better to go wide. So play this tapped, go to combat, attack with no, not with you, with everything else. Give our Worthy Knight indestructible. Let's see if they want to trade. They might just trade the Charming Prince for the Venerable Knight. Yeah, looks like they're going to do that. Sure. We'll put the counter on our Youthful Knight because it has first strike. And next turn we can Sanctuary Lockdown and potentially tap down the Gyuda. The problem is, if it was just the Gyuda, it'd be one thing, but if they go Gyuda into a copy effect, make another Gyuda into a copy effect, then we can't tap down. Okay, Dream Trawler. We should actually just win here, right? Sanctuary Lockdown. And yeah, we just kill him. Tap down the Dream Trawler. Tap down our human tokens, and we got game. Alright, so we just beat one of the best new decks in the format. Beat a Dream Trawler even. Pretty nice. And get in for a chunk of damage. Exactly lethal. Alright, so game 1, we beat against Gyuda, and we were actually going second. So pretty good. Pretty powerful show for our deck, beating one of the... Probably, out of the new decks in the format, probably the top deck I've seen. So do we have anything to bring in here? Like... Not really. We could bring in like the Devout Decree to hit the Gyudas, but they've got a lot of, like you saw, they had like Dream Trawler and such. Maybe Banishing Light. I think we just got to be as aggressive as we possibly can be. Yeah, let's just run it back. We're just going to try to put the pedal to the metal. We're not going to try to interact all that much. We're just going to do basically what we just did there. Rely on the interaction from our dire strategies and our Kudro to deal with their threats. Okay, we do have Worthy Knight into Youthful Knight, make a bunch of tokens, so we don't get to play this Venerable Knight turn 1, which kind of sucks because we have a tap land, but we're still not going to throw this back. Do we want to keep that? I don't think so. I think we'd rather have threats at this point than answers. I think we just want to be as aggressive as we possibly can be. We're looking for lords, basically. Okay, white's good. So here we can Worthy Knight. But next turn we can Worthy Knight plus Venerable Knight, actually. And they didn't... I mean, they did have ramp on turn 2, but they didn't have a Mana Dork, which I think is probably better. Because it can also block. At least they're not going to have a turn 4 Gyuda. Hopefully. Alright, let's see what they got. Got something they want to cast here. Oh, okay. Definitely going to have the turn 4 Gyuda. Oy. Yeah, this is when the deck is very, very scary. Worthy Knight. Venerable Knight. Make 2 humans. Get it for 2. I mean, we've gone wide, but I mean, being on the draw versus the, well, okay, that's pretty bad for us. Yeah. Not the best for us. Charming Prince, sure. Man, we just have no way to interact with that Gyuda, unfortunately. If it was in their hand, we could do discard or whatever. That's the messed up part. Okay, we will Order of Midnight back our Worthy Knight. Play our Worthy Knight and pass turn. That's the best we can do, unfortunately. Yep, here they go. Here they go, Gyudian. All we can hope is that they mill just. Well, they got the elite guard mage, unfortunately, which I guess is better than a clone effect, right? So we have ways to kill this Gigan. No blocks. Omen of the Sun is not one of those ways, so we will Order Midnight, Youthful Knight. Maybe we should have kept the removal spell. Wasn't expecting a Wrath, to be honest. Let's see, they got a clone effect in hand. They do. Okay, we're dead now. We are dead. Alright, scoop it up. So we will... do we want to change how we did it? Do we want to bring in removal? No. Just going to run it back. I still don't think it's right to bring in removal. I think being on the play is going to help a lot. Maybe we should... That's the thing, we can't... Maybe running Duresses is a bad idea. Maybe we should be running the 2-mana discard spell that lets you get anything. Because there's not much hard control. There's a lot of these like half creature, half control decks, right? So maybe it's a mistake to run Duress. Something to think about. Let's see. Yep, Worthy Knight. Love to draw a land here. Destiny Spinner, okay. No land. I'm just gonna play Wintermore Commander, make a human. Pass turn. Ugh. Yeah. Guess we play... What is better here? I guess we just play another Wintermore Commander. If they have a Wrath, we're not in great shape. So we will attack and attack. Give our Worthy Knight indestructible. Get him for 2. I don't have the mana for Wrath. Umori the Collector. Okay, so makes creatures 1 less to cast. Okay, there's a land at least. So here we will pay 2 life. I think we're just gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna play Sanctuary Lockdown. Attack, attack, and attack. Maybe we should have attacked with everything. Okay, shape one of our Death Touchers. Get him for 6. Fast turn. Kudro would be great here. Another Sanctuary Lockdown would be pretty good to attack through this Destiny Spinner with our tokens. Basically, we played this Sanctuary Lockdown, so we don't have to play into a Wrath, potentially. Dire Tactics. Get in with these 2. Is it worth the 6 damage to lose both our tokens? I don't think so. Get in with these 2. Yep, we'll just kill both the Destiny Spinners, sure. Play Youthful Knight. Just go as wide as we can here. And if they have a land that can Gyuda, but we do have a Dire Tactics to kill it, so hopefully they don't hit a clone effect. No clones, no clones, no clones. Okay, they just hit an Umori. Not bad. We can kill the Gigan here. Oh, and a land's pretty good too. So here we will dire tactics, get rid of the Gigan. And attack with everything. And got our opponent. Woo! Okay, so we beat the terror of the format, Kryuta. Just had to be as aggressive as we could be. Like, once they start comboing off, we can't beat it, right? We can't deal with, 3 or 4 Kryutas hitting the battlefield at the same turn. So being able to just get underneath them, go as fast as we could, and beating them to their combo essentially is how we did it. So sweet, awesome. Pretty impressed with this deck. Double tribal, getting it done. Nice. Alright, playing some double tribal humans and knights versus Tool. And we'll keep this. We're a little more land heavy than we would like in this deck, but it is what it is. Drawing another land is kind of bad. Okay, looks like our opponent might be on some sort of flash strategy potentially. Alright, and we will just run out this worthy knight. Pass turn. Wow, our opponent... Okay, I don't know what they're playing. I have no idea. They must have thought they could hit their... I guess we play... If we want to bring in Duresses? Let's bring in a couple Duresses, like speculatively, and maybe go down a Omen of the Sun and a Dire Tactics and just run it like that. I have no idea what they're playing. I'm guessing they kept, a double island hand, thinking they could use their opt to scry into their other mana source, and then they could not, and just gave it up. But okay, well, hopefully they're a creature deck. Double Dire's Tax. We have Temple of Silence to hopefully scry any additional lands out of the way. We'll see. We drew another land. Not great. We've drawn a lot of lands in this match. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's enough lands. If they are a creature deck, we can mess them up with Dire Tactics. Okay, so they're Izzet. Okay, so they're like an Izzet Spellslinger deck. So I think the Dire Tactics here will actually be pretty good. So we're all right with that. All right, let's see how big this bad boy gets. All right, just gonna play another Sprite Dragon. Sure. Sure. And we will play out our Lord. Start racing back.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley.
If these things do get too big, we can kill them with General Kudrow, which is nice, but next turn we might just, depending on what they do... Alright. If they tap out here... if they tap out... Excuse me. If they tap out here, we might just double Dire Tactics to clear their board. Would be pretty good. Yeah. Looking that way. Okay, they're just gonna shock. Yep. Luckily, we still have a human on the board here, so we'll be able to Dire Tactics without losing any life. So we will play Godless Shrine untapped. Dire Tactics, kill their Sprite Dragon. Dire Tactics, kill their Sprite Dragon. And get in for 3. Alright. Alright, Izzet? Next turn we can Venerable Knight plus Sanctuary Lockdown. Get double Lords on the board. Looking pretty good. It will suck if they have a removal spell this turn before we can get our second Lord down. There's a lot of stuff that deals 3 damage. Stuff like Scorching Dragonfire. Okay, they're just going to Cathartic... Did they discard Scorching Dragonfire? No, that's a throw possibility. Okay. Ugh, another land's really bad, but... Okay, Sanctuary Lockdown. Alright, and hopefully they won't be able to kill our Kudrow then. We'll exile a... Because they have these finales, this exiling is actually pretty good. I think we go down... Get rid of the Shock. Yeah. Let's get rid of the Shock. Out of the graveyard. Go to combat. Attack for 4. Alright, we got a pretty hefty clock here. 8 damage on board. Just okay, they're gonna try to get back a Phoenix, but I mean, okay, they did have the removal spell, sure. That's not good for us. But if we can draw... Wow, they shock us instead of our... Maybe... Okay, they're probably just planning to try to kill us with... Phoenix, okay. Gonna need to draw something here. Youthful Knight, I guess, is a card. We're not technically dead, but we're getting pretty close. I guess we hold on to this land to pretend like we got something. Okay. Gonna have to kill this Arc-like Phoenix, and we did not, so we're dead. I guess technically we're not dead. We can tap it down with this. We just can't attack. No attacks, past turn. We're dead to basically anything, so... Hey, that is anything. Rough. That's rough, buddy. Alright. So we got Izzaded out there. We looked pretty good, but then they were able to just chain enough removal spells together. So, we do want to go up Juresses, I think. And I think we do want to keep the Dire Tactics as well. We want to interact as much as possible, I think. Do we want to bring in... I guess we bring in the Devout Decrees. Man, okay. Maybe we go down... We don't go up quite as many Juresses because we have the Devout Decrees as well. The real problem is their threats, right? We can eventually deal with all the removal. So... Maybe... Maybe just one Duress. We'll save it... We don't want to get flooded on Juresses. Bring in these Devout Decrees. And then go down Omen of the Sun. Go down a... What's not very good against this deck? I guess a... Youthful Knight will go down and run it like that. Okay, game 3 against Tool here. We almost had him that second game, but let's see. We do get to go first this time, which is nice. Yeah, and we'll keep this. Got a way to deal with their threats. Get down an early Worthy Knight, start generating some tokens. Although our creatures right now are just soldiers, so... That is the little bit of a downside playing double tribal. Sometimes the pieces don't quite line up, but the power of being able to generate a bunch of humans for free with this General Kudrow is pretty good. Okay. We will play Worthy Knight. Venerable Knight's a little late to the party, unfortunately, but if we do draw a land next turn, we can go Venerable Knight plus General's Enforcer. It's probably better than just running out Kudrow. Okay, they're going to shock our Worthy Knight. That's fine. Maybe we should have run out General's Enforcer, actually. Yeah, I think that was a misplay. Yeah. Well, here we will run out. We'll run out General's Enforcer here. I think last turn we should have run out General's Enforcer because that's shock-proof. It can't be shocked. And then if we did draw a land, we could go Worthy Knight and immediately play Venerable Knight to create a 1/1 token before they killed our Worthy Knight, so we at least get some value out of it. We'll see. What do they got in their graveyard? Okay, just some spells. Okay, we're gonna need to draw some lands eventually. Yeah, I guess we get in. Get in with our General's Enforcer. Play another General's Enforcer. Pass turn. These are shock-proof, and they can't use that 2-mana removal spell either. Well, now they can. Now they have 3 spells in their graveyard, so they can kill one of these with that spell, but at least it's not a shock, right? Okay, just thrill of possibility. If we can untap and play a land, we can eat that Phoenix out of the graveyard with Kudrow. But we really gotta stop drawing non-lands here. Let's see what they do. They could potentially have a Finale of Revelation, which would, yeah, it looks like they're looking at the graveyard. I imagine they have a Finale of Revelation, which means they're getting back their Phoenix, but we can kill that with the Devout Decree. And they can't actually kill any of our creatures using a Finale of Revelation, right? So, it's not that bad. They just ping us, draw a card, and get their Phoenix back, which we can exile with Devout Decree. If we draw a White Source, we can Devout Decree plus play out a Venerable Knight to keep adding to our clock. So, not too bad. Okay, they're gonna thrill a possibility. Interesting. Okay, they just pass the turn. Ugh. Alright. Get in with our Enforcers. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I guess we play out Youthful Knight. This probably just dies to a shock, but hey, whatever. I mean, we could hold up a removal spell here, but then if they have another turn like their last turn where they don't actually do anything, it would feel pretty bad. I think we'd rather get a shock out of their hand than just sit back and potentially do nothing. Okay, and they don't even shock at the end. So maybe they don't have the shock. They might be stuck on blue mana here. Looks like they have a lot of mountains, but not a lot of islands. We have... Okay. Do they have two of them? Or do they have maybe a shock as well? Okay. Yep. Yep. Oh, they got 2 shocks? Okay, no, they got a Merchant Veil. So they do get back their Phoenix, but that's okay. We're still in great shape if we just draw a land here. Come on, land. Just not going to draw it. Well, I guess we just do this now. Devout Decree. Get rid of the Phoenix forever. Nope, put a non-land to the bottom. And get in for 2. Geez, we're 12 cards deep and we've only seen 2 land. I guess 13 because we just milled our Scrata card to the bottom, right? Yeah, so we're 13 cards deep and we've seen 2 lands. That's not the best luck. But if we can at least we can draw something here, we'll be in good shape. I mean, the positive thing is we have like a million billion ways to get rid of. Okay, they're just gonna draw a ton of cards, sure. We have like a million billion ways to get rid of Arclight Phoenix. So even if they have another Arclight Phoenix here, we can just kill it with another Devout Decree. And eventually we are gonna draw lands. Okay, they don't even have a Phoenix. They're just trying to dig for some cards here. That's fine. Okay, there's the Phoenix. Come on, land. Land for Kudro. Come on, land. Why? Oh my goodness. Well, get rid of the other Phoenix. Jeez. A tapped land. I guess we keep it. Ugh. Yeah, I guess next turn we can Dire Tactics and or Venerable Knight. Not the worst thing in the world, I guess. Temple of Silence. Okay, we will keep this land. Finally finding our lands here. And I guess we just Dire Tactics this Merchant of the Veil. We're just like mono removal here. We're the control deck. We're playing double tribal aggro control. But hey, not so bad. Get this out of the way. Start beating him for some more damage. Next turn we can play Kudro plus Venerable Knight. Exile a couple cards out of their graveyard. Sprite Dragon, sure. Alright, just gonna kill our General Enforcer. Godless Shrine untapped, like Kudro.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley.
Exile. Guess Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. Play Venerable Knight. I had another one. Alright. Don't get to exile another card. Gonna have to kill this Sprite Dragon. Yeah, get him for 3. Sprite Dragon seemed pretty good. Okay, here we're going to Youthful Knight first. And then Dire Tactics, so even if they kill one of our creatures here, we don't take the damage. Oh, do they have double removal spell? That's not good. They don't, okay. Sweet. Okay. Does this exile? It does exile. I was about to say, why didn't we get a counter, but that's why. Okay, I think we do get to do double spell here, which is nice. Sanctuary Lockdown, Venerable Knight. I mean, we got them dead next turn. We're at a pretty low life total too, so they could have some crazy combo turn here, but if they don't, okay, opt. And I guess okay, Sprite Dragon, sure. Just as a blocker to keep themselves alive. Oof, land's not good. Alright, we'll attack. They get to chump. We could tap it down, but there's no reason to do that. Pass turn. But if we do draw some humans off the top here, even if they're summoning sick, we can tap down blockers. So we got 2 lethal blockers here, or 2 lethal attackers. So really, flame sweep is what we're worried about. God, now we're drawing our lands. Man, we have had a rough go of it this game. There's flame sweep. Stuck on 2 lands for the vast majority of the game, and then only drawing lands for the rest of the game. Jeez. Well, this one's painful. I think most games we would have won this, but we managed to find a way to just draw as awkwardly as possible. Come on now, something good. Order of Midnight is very good. Order of Midnight, get back Worthy Knight, play Worthy Knight, play Order of Midnight. Alright, and pass the turn. They can't kill us here. Come on, not a shock. Okay, well, our opponent... That's a little unfortunate. I think, you know, we probably got a little unlucky there. An opponent drew exactly what they needed to kill us, so... it still shows the power of our deck. We were able to keep up with them. We almost won both the games we lost, so... A little unfortunate. We just... In that second game, if we had drawn a 3rd land, you know... At any point in like turns 2 through 10, we would have, I think, pretty easily won this game. Or if we had drawn any action in the last like 3 turns of the game, we would have been fine. But we didn't quite get there. But and maybe I think I maybe even potentially played that turn wrong, and maybe I should have gone Order of Midnight, get back Venerable Knight. Then we could play that for 1 mana, play the Order of Midnight, and then we could have 2 creatures and 2 mana to tap down their creatures. So I think that's actually what I should have done. So that was a mistake on my part as well, because we could have made sure that this Sprite Dragon wasn't lethal. I was trying to go for the maximum amount of creatures, so if they did have like a blocker, we could still kill them, but I think that was actually wrong. So, bit of a misplay at the end there. But in spite of all that, it was a pretty good match. It was pretty close, and yeah, we'll just move on to the next one. Alright, Double Tribal was a lot of fun, and it was able to keep up with the best of them, so awesome deck. But now we're going to talk about some potential upgrades you can make. These are if you already have these rares, or if you just want to spend a few more wild cards. We'll talk about ways you can upgrade this deck, kind of make it more competitive, and you can just slot out some of these uncommons and commons to make room for these cards. The most straightforward upgrade, though, is just Castle Ardenvale. Castle Ardenvale is ridiculous in this deck. The castles are just generally really great because they allow you to have extra free value in your mana base without actually doing anything. You don't have to actually give anything up or add, you know, put any spots in your deck for it. You're just able to swap out a basic land for a castle, and it's great. But Castle Ardenvale in our deck is even better because it makes human tokens. So all these tokens we make, if we flood out and we're just making tokens with Castle Ardenvale, or if we don't want to play into counter spells, we just want to make some tokens so our opponent has to do something instead of just countering all of our stuff. All of them are going to benefit off our human tribal elements like General Kudrow and Sanctuary Lockdown. All of these are going to be pumped up, and they're also going to be resources we can use, like paying 2 mana to sacrifice these tokens we make with Castle Ardenvale to blow up creatures with General Kudrow. So just in general, it's like the best land ever for our deck. So if you've got any Castle Ardenvale, slot them in. We're even more white than we are black, so it's even like pretty free roll as far as coming to play tapped. We should have a plains most games, especially if you had some godless shrines that count as plains. The next upgrade we could add is Circle of Loyalty. Circle of Loyalty is yet another lord for our deck. So we could go up to like 10 lords, or we could even just replace the Sanctuary Lockdowns potentially with these Circle of Loyalties. So Circle of Loyalty gives all of our creatures +1/+1 whenever we cast a legendary spell, such as Wilford Brimley. We get to create a 2/2 Knight And we can just pay 4 mana and tap to make a knight as well, and it costs 1 less for each knight we control. So, especially if we lean in a bit more to our knight theme, and we kind of, maybe we drop the General's Enforcer, like where all of our creatures are knights, this would be even better than it already is. So Circle of Loyalty is definitely worth exploring, either as a replacement for Sanctuary Lockdown, or as an addition. Like, maybe it's just worth running, like, 10 Lords. Running, like, 3 Circle of Loyalties, 3 Sanctuary Lockdowns, and 4 General Kudros. Maybe that's just having all those +1/+1s is actually worth it, especially because this can actually make tokens to benefit off it as well. But yeah, definitely something to look into if you've got a few copies. Acclaim Contender would be a really nice way to get card advantage out of our deck, because currently we don't have a great way to get card advantage. It's another card that just happens to be a human knight, so it benefits off of all of our tribal themes. And whenever it enters the battlefield, if we already have a knight on the battlefield besides it, we get to look at the top 5 cards of our library, reveal a knight, an aura, an equipment, or a legendary artifact from among them and put it into our hand, and put the rest on the bottom. So for us, that generally means we get to look at the top 5 cards of our deck, grab a knight. Again, this might be something we want to do if we like move out the General's Enforcer, move more heavily to like all of our creatures being humans and knights instead of just most of them, so that we can pretty much guarantee a hit whenever we play Acclaim Contender. And also, if we're going more towards this sort of card advantage, more, you know, less hyper-aggressive, more card advantage-y sort of strategy, we might want to go up in mana a bit too. Currently, we're cutting it a little low with our lands, with running just 22 lands. That's you know, pretty good for an aggressive deck. But if we're wanting to spend more mana, we're wanting to use the Acclaimed Contenders to just generate a lot of creatures and benefit from our lords over the long term, instead of just trying to get like hyper aggressive and smashing it for a lot of damage. This is kind of a different avenue to go down. Would be pretty good, and it would still, again, we can still just benefit off of the fact that a lot of knights just happen to also be humans. We can still get these human tribal benefits. And also have a card advantage engine, which currently our deck doesn't really have. Outside of like Order of Midnight kind of gives some card advantage sometimes in the late game, but in general we just don't have much ways to catch back up, and Acclaim Contender allows us to do that. So a great card to add to our deck in the sideboard would be Drannith Magistrate. So Drannith Magistrate is a human wizard, a 2-mana 1/3, and he has the ability your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So if we're going up against a deck with a companion, which is a lot of decks right now, or we're going up against a deck with like an Uro or a Croxus, something casting cards out of their graveyard, Drannith Magistrate is a fantastic card to have in our sideboard, because it just completely shuts those strategies down. And it's also a human, so it benefits off of our, you know, off our Brimleys, off of our Sanctuary Lockdowns. It's just it kind of does everything we want out of a sideboard card, but it is rare. So if you have some copies of these, definitely put them in your sideboard. Fantastic card in the format right now. Another card similar to Worthy Knight that just spits out a ton of human tokens is Hero Precinct 1. We do have a good number of multicolored cards in the deck. Hero Precinct 1 just creates a 1/1 human every time we play a multicolored card, and we do have a lot of cards that are multicolored in our deck, cards like General's Enforcer, cards like Winter War Commander, Dire Tactics, General Kudro. So we are running a decent amount of multicolored cards, but I think for Hero Precinct 1 you really want to be running like almost all multicolored cards. So all your spells are going to be proccing Hero Precinct 1. And to do that, I think you need to play a little bit more off a budget, run some more multicolored cards that happen to be rarer than Mythics, but you can kind of reconfigure the deck to move away from the Knight Tribal theme and focus more in on like multicolored cards that are also humans. That could be another avenue to explore to take advantage of the human tribal themes. You would still get your 8 lords with General Kudro and Sanctuary Lockdown. You'd still get your Dire Tactics, which is also a multicolored card, so that works pretty well with Heroes. So another way to explore, but it's a little bit less on a budget than going to double tribal theme we're doing now. So, but another avenue to explore for sure. And finally, there's one more way you could take this deck if you're playing not quite on a budget, and that's just to play straight up human tribal, to drop the double tribal theme and just go straight up into humans. To do just straight up human tribal successfully, I think you have to play a lot more rares in our deck, play cards like Giant Killer, cards like Charming Prince, cards like Tithe Taker. There's a lot of just good human cards, but they happen to be rare. Lava Burning Venture is another great threat that's actually pretty good against Kryuta decks in particular, because you can just name even converted mana cost, and that's every deck card in their entire deck. So Lava Burning Venture becomes really good against those decks. And there's even some cards that just make human tokens. Cards like Elspeth's Sun's Nemesis, she can -2 to make 2 1/1 humans. You know, that'd be pretty great upgrade even if you're not just going into straight humans. You know, you could replace like Omen of the Sun with Elspeth. 4 mana is a bit much, so again, you might want to shift more towards a long-term grindy strategy rather than going super aggressive, but still really powerful card. But there's a lot of cards that if you're not so focused on them being both knights and humans, you could focus more in on. Again, in black, there's some good cards too. So if you want to just focus in more on human tribal in specific, that's another way you could take the deck if you wanted to kind of play a little bit less on a budget. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our Double Trouble, Double Tribal deck. 4 rares, 4 mythics, super fun deck, and it seems like it has quite a punch to it. So anyway, this has been 2D. Let me know if you enjoyed watching. I sure enjoyed playing, and I'll see you next time.